Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dungeons and Drams. This is where your favorite whiskey tube people get together and play D&D. At least, hopefully, some of your favorite whiskey people. So there's no Bruzel on here, I suppose. But you know, actually, he seems like the kind of guy. I bet I could drag him on here sometime. Anyway, well, let's hop right into this. So Clifton is on vacation this week, so that's fine, and Jason will be along momentarily. So Ed, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, you know, I don't know. Something made me feel like grabbing something weird tonight. So I've got two things. The first is Le Grand. This is from Crooked Water. It's their French oak finished vodka.
Okay.
So, yeah, right? Very strange. It's a weird
I love
one.
French oak, so I can't even picture what that would do to vodka.
It basically just tastes like the essence of French oak. It's like it just smells like French oak. There's really
vodka is like
nothing.
Isn't vodka what you use to basically get the essence of
essentially
of something like vanilla or something?
Yeah. So it really is, because you really got no other congeners in there for it to interact with. So you're really just getting French oak. Yeah. And then the other one I have for later, this is another weird one, Sterling Reserve. Ooh. This is a Indian spirit whiskey it's a blend of Scotch malts and then finest Indian spirits. Not exactly sure what that means. I don't know if that's cane spirits or grain spirits. Not sure, but yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm not familiar with that brand. I've done quite a bit of Indian whiskeys on the channel. So, although I guess if it's just spirits, maybe that's not actually. I would imagine that's not actually a whiskey. So.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, cool. Adriana, what are you drinking tonight?
I am not drinking Knob Creek.
Oh, wow.
I'm just gonna say, let me prelude. Even though I'm out of town and I bought Knob Creek while I was here, there was actually like a decent liquor store that I found downtown of a village. But they had the Heaven Hill bottled and bond, which is definitely not in Utah yet. So I picked it up with the idea of I wasn't going to open it yet. But it has been a rough week, so I opened it.
Oh, there you go.
And it's freaking delicious. I love it. So.
Well, good. I'm glad it was worth it at least. You know.
Open
in bottles.
Absolutely.
So now.
And my mom has agreed to hide it so that her friends don't drink my whiskey again.
I was just going to
say. I already have a bottle here that they fitted. Yeah.
I like that.
What about you, Bill?
Well, so I got to call this out. So Russell B mentioned, he says, isn't grabbing something weird what Knobolas did on his mini episode, which I'm not going to reference too much tonight because I like the idea of you guys having no idea what happened in Knobolas's episode. And I did tell them in kind of our behind the scenes chat, I said like, hey, don't watch the episode because I think it'd be more fun. But yes, Russell, that's exactly. So I'm drinking just a beer at the moment from Night Shift Brewing. I have noticed a significant decline in the episodes where I start drinking whiskey versus the ones that I switch over to it about midway. So when I do make that switch, however, I'm working on killing off some bottles that I don't really ever intend on doing on the whiskey dictionary. So I have this Revenant Oak from Andalusia. Which is one that I actually poured myself from the barrel, which was really cool. So it's it's 120 proof. So we'll save that one for a little bit in case I need some inspiration. So, okay. Let's see. Do you guys have anything that you are doing this upcoming week or anything that you want to highlight? Otherwise, I've got something I want to point out, but feel free, Adriana.
Go ahead. Yes, point away.
I know I always kind of spring that on you guys, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have something. It's not this upcoming week, but July, I think 23rd is going to be the day. Mm-hmm. I am doing my Alzheimer's fundraiser on Whiskey Mountains. So there will be bottles people can win. You can donate anytime before that, and all of it goes to it. Every $5 is an entry. And if anybody's interested in donating a bottle, they can message me on Instagram or email or wherever.
Awesome.
So that's coming in. late July.
Nice. So once you kind of get that up, I'll share that on the Dungeons and Drams channel as well. Try to just filter more people. I know it was a very successful thing last year, so
yeah, it was amazing.
So that'll be great. Nice. As for me, I'm recording on somebody's podcast tomorrow called Hardly Focused. It's a guy I used to work with actually, and he kind of came to me and he was like, you still doing that whiskey thing? I'm like, yes. Like I've done that the whole time you've known me in your whole, and he's like, well, cause I got this podcast. I was looking through it. They've got they're almost at 600 episodes. They've been around forever. And,
wow.
And I believe they're doing weekly episodes. I mean, that's over 10 years. So, either way, I'm going to be recording for them tomorrow, so I'm excited to do that. I've actually never been on a podcast that wasn't my own, so
Whoa, that's awesome.
Hardly Focused. So I'll probably put a thing up on for that, assuming it goes well. If it's embarrassing, then maybe I won't, but we'll see.
Are you drinking during it, or
I imagine that I'm going to have to, because why wouldn't I? But luckily I've got a nice microphone, so it might undo some of the hurt that I'll be doing in my voice, but we'll see. All right.
Are they bringing you on to talk whiskey specifically?
Yes.
That's then you got to be drinking, of course.
I feel like I've got it, and I've already got my answers ready for all of the classic questions. What's your favorite whiskey? Which is, you guys get it. That's one of the hardest questions, despite us.
Yeah, no,
we're like the most able to answer that question, which makes us totally not able to answer that question. So
yeah. Once you understand how many options you have, it's paralyzing.
Right? Yeah. Totally. Awesome. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into this. I think Jason will be along in probably about 5 or so minutes. So let's go into the recap. Now, I'll say it again. Just if you guys haven't watched, well, actually, this is more for the audience. If you guys haven't watched Knobolas' interlude, that's not a problem, but I'd encourage you to watch it prior to next week's episode. All right, so in the last episode of Dungeons and Drams, the group left the Silver Sweet Inn on their way to the Bearhold for some grizzly riding. A dwarf followed them out of the tavern and challenged them to some dice games, of which most people didn't fare too well, none worse than Knobolas. That was until he decided to steal his gold back, and was shockingly successful. I believe he rolled a natural 20 on his sleight of hand. So, continuing on to the Bearhold, Agnomeio and TaLin, which actually is nice that you guys are here, you guys made a great showing, both of you finishing with a flourish. Although TaLin, we'll get to that in a sec. After proving your bear riding skills, Taniana Fizzle River...
Look, the bear riding went well, okay? I did good on that part.
The bear riding went fantastic.
The cyborg riding.
That was different. That's not my fault.
So after proving your bear riding skills, Taniana Fizzle River saw an opportunity to have you show off her new invention, a giant mechanized bear named Piddles. The bear went haywire, the group put it down, TaLin almost died, and Thora Ironheart had her arm injured in the event. We return you to our group, injured but victorious. A coupon to the Silver Spindle in the Platinum Weave Quarter is in your hand. And as you guys are kind of like recovering from the fight, Knobolas actually tells you that he's going to go and practice his other bear riding. And he says he'll catch up with you guys later. All right. So
have fun. Enjoy yourself.
So as you guys are kind of like brushing yourselves off, whatever. So Taniana, if you remember, she kind of ran up and she gave you, TaLin, a healing potion to kind of get you up off the ground. She was extremely apologetic, and now she's actually running over to Thora Ironheart, and she's asking if she's okay. It's very clear that Thora's arm is very injured, but it's hard to tell how bad. She says she helps Thora up to her feet, and she says, come on, let's get you to the healers. I'll cover the cost. And she helps her up to her feet, and she looks back at you guys, and she says, come visit me at the Glimmering Gear Works in the Platinum Weave Quarter tomorrow, if you'd like. I'll have some ideas that I think you could all help me out with. Ask for Elsia. You may have seen her flying through the air earlier. That's the one to look for.
Okay, Glimmering Gear Works, Elsia.
I don't know if I want her gadgets.
It's completely up to you guys.
Shady. It seems how well have these been tested. How much do we get paid?
Well, we'll see. All right, so
I mean, the bear work pretty well at what it was designed to do. I mean, it's not, like in terms of murderous bear stuff,
But murder, like your murder thing shouldn't murder you.
Well, that's probably true.
Myrtling.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let me ask you guys, what are you thinking about doing? As far as I've dropped you over on the Erngor Zuek map here. I have not I put you there. What are you thinking about doing? Where are you thinking about going? It is kind of late. I'll say that whole event probably took about an hour to an hour and a half between watching some other riders go, you guys riding yourself, the fight, and recovery. So at this point, it's probably 8 to 9 o'clock at night. Some of the shops will be closed, but there is still some activity. This place runs 24/7. Darkness doesn't mean a whole lot in a cave.
Sure. Well, yeah. So like the platinum weave and the silver spindle and all that are probably kind of shut down about now, I'm guessing.
So maybe the owner of the platinum weave, she was at the event. So I would think it'd probably be likely that it's shut down, but that doesn't mean you can't go visit. It's up to you guys where you want to go.
Well, we could save that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I am wondering, just before we went into the Bearhold,
yes,
there was a small individual was launched flamingly into the giant pit, the giant mine shaft.
Yes,
I would like to go see what was up with that.
So that was actually who Taniana was referencing.
That was
yeah.
Elsia.
Yes.
Oh, that was who was flying by. Oh, okay. I was like, all right, wait. Okay.
That's what I was just wondering. Is that Elsie? So she was purposely flying into the pit?
Potentially. She didn't say. She just said you may have seen her flying through the air earlier.
Can we ask Fizzle River? I'll be nicer this time and try to remember her name.
If you want to try to catch up to her, so she's helping Thora over to kind of the healers. But you could certainly catch up to her and talk to her if you want.
We catch up and we could help her help Thorna amble over.
Sure. Perfect.
Sure.
All right. So you guys catch up to her. It wasn't very hard. Even though they're hobbling, they're still pretty short. And you're
we're probably like the perfect size to be her crutches.
That's true. Yeah.
Just like one on each of our heads. Just
yeah.
So
this is like the shortest group ever. Like the cameraman has to be down low for this whole scene.
So although it was Thora's arm that was hurt, she still fell a good 10 feet or so, and her ankles, her legs are a little sore. And she looks over at Booker and she says, "Do you think he'd let me hop on his back and maybe take the load off my legs?"
Yeah, I think he would. I go pet Booker, bring him up to her. I tell him that, is she training Lil G?
She's not the one training Lil G. Nope, but she knows of Lil G. Yeah, she knows Lil Grizz.
She's like, okay, so I'll say to Booker, this is a friend of Lil G's, and he was playing with Lil G before. And kind of introduce that it's all good, and let her have a ride. But Fizzle River is not allowed anywhere near Booker.
Fair enough.
I shoot Fizzle River off. I'm mad at her.
I could see why.
Hey.
I've still got 5 points. Granted, they're thanks to her, but that's it.
We might want to see if the healers can't.
If we're not going to be dangerous tonight, I'd probably sleep it off.
Yeah.
I feel like it's dangerous to say that out loud, though.
True. Also, I like the idea that you can just sleep off a bear mauling.
I know. Right?
Whatever. I'm just gonna take a nap.
Badass.
It's D&D.
Yeah.
It's a
beautiful thing.
All right, so let's take a quick pause. Just Jason, thanks for joining. Sorry to pull you back so late. The very important question for you, Jason, then we'll kind of catch you up on the stream. What are you drinking tonight?
I've been I cracked open this bottle of Foursquare 2009 I have. It is just,
Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking about having some of that.
it's just too damn good. I've been I've been sipping that. I finished one bottle that I had that was getting pretty low, and then I cracked open this one. I'm like, I can't get enough of this shit. I don't know. Just a rum kind of day, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a rum kind of day.
Oh, fucking love
It's
Foursquare.
very warm over here. I was thinking that if I wasn't drinking what I was drinking, I was like, oh, it does feel very rummy.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, the bottle that I killed, I even threw in, like, because it's Foursquare, it's cast strength. I threw in a couple ice cubes, and man, I was just sipping that shit. I went right through it. It was crazy. I'm like, I better slow down. I got some ribs I gotta smoke today. Let me
Nice.
relax.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna talk smoking later. I'm curious about your setup, but we can talk about that another time.
Sure.
So long story short, the group has basically kind of dusted themselves off again. The gnome, the pink-haired gnome that you kind of owned Piddles, she's been helping the dwarf Thora up to her feet, and they're heading off to a healer. The group has kind of caught back up to her because I believe that they have some information that they wanted to discuss with her.
Thor is hitching a ride on Booker, but Fizzle River is not allowed near me or Booker.
Where's the tiny bear?
The tiny bear. Make a perception check for me, Agnomeio. Let's get you right into it.
Agnomeio or Alessio?
Alessio. Yep. You asked. May as well.
One of those.
We're very similar.
Did I say the wrong name?
So
I must have said the wrong name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Come
Also,
Yeah. So let's do this instead. Agnomeio. Agnomeio, why don't you roll the perception check? Alessio, there's a brand new interface. It's a long story. It's not my choice. Just double look through your stuff. So make sure you know where your things are.
right.
I got a 12.
12. Awesome. So you saw Lil Grizz. He was looking real tired, and you actually saw like a little bear yawn, and he headed back into the stables with his owner.
Does he have a little teddy bear that he sleeps with?
No, but he fell asleep in his armor though, and they just decided to leave it on.
In his armor.
Unbelievable.
That is too cute.
I'm a fan of Lil Grizz.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's funny. Before you were telling us about there's an update to the thing, and now it has, certain roles that are most useful to that character, much more readily available for you to find.
Oh yeah, it might be way better. Yeah.
For me, that is death saves. That is what is now really good enough. Oh, thanks.
That's
they
awesome.
read me well.
What do you need tonight? Well,
I'm like, oh, got it. I got it exactly right. That's first thing.
So Agnomeio,
Yeah,
along with that 12 perception, so you kind of like are gazing all around and everything, and as I mentioned, it's starting to get dark, and you see that if you remember, there's these 4 large pillars that are kind of supporting this entire cavern, and as you're looking around, you actually see that although they were like both the red and the white lights, they've actually shut off the white, the yellowish white lights, and now this entire place is just flooded with red. So it's kind of actually one of the Thora mentions to you. She's like, I know you guys are new to this area. That means it's nighttime. The nighttime shift is gonna go down into the pit.
Yes. Speaking of the pit, we noticed a tiny flaming figure flying into there earlier. What was that all about?
Yeah.
So Tatiana replies back. She goes, "Oh, that was Alicia that I mentioned earlier. She's working on a new project for the skyships. Think of it like a safety in case you fall off of the boat or the ship. If you fall from a really, really high height, it just might save your life."
Okay.
Well, that is intriguing.
By lighting you on fire?
Well, so if you remember last week, after she launched through the air, right before she landed in the pit, a giant white bubble surrounded her that she ended up cutting her way out of.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Yes, we will have to go and meet this Alicia in the morning.
Is she
Learn more about it.
is she like Fizzle River's mentor or just like co-worker, co-inventor?
Are you asking her? Or
Yes, I'm asking. Am I having to talk to Fizzle River?
well, it's a role playing game.
I'm
I
grumbling.
like the idea, though, that you would be talking. You're asking Thorna, like, "Hey, this Fizzle River, this piece of crap right here. Does that?"
I'm turning to Agnomeio, and
I'm not talking to her.
Ask her if Alcia is her boss, or do they work together?
So I'm sorry. Just I was laughing. Are you asking Tatiana or are you asking Thora?
I'm asking Tatiana.
Like very openly in front of her, like, Agnomeio, ask Tatiana.
Most petty, bitchy way possible. Yeah.
And my friend wants to know. You know.
That's okay. And she actually looks at you again, TaLin, and she says, again, I'm just so sorry for Piddles. Anyway, no, I run the shop. I run the shop, and I have Merrick and Alicia that work there with me. Merrick is a very fine inventor. He's working on some projects, but then Alicia, like I mentioned, she mostly works on things to improve the skyships.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So more practical engineering, whereas Merrick he likes to make use of some of the magical runes that you'll find in the Shimmering Cavern up in the Platinum Weave. So there's things, sometimes the gems just don't do anything, and then he makes this whole big contraption and he turns it on and it just does nothing. And other times it does a lot of things, maybe more than we expect. But I think that you probably have a lot to talk to them about tomorrow.
Yes, I'm very interested about the nature of these crystals.
Oh, yeah, Helen's curious, but she'd rather just talk to Merrick about it. And so where do we want to go? If a lot of things are closing.
Yeah, once we get them to the healers, should we retire for the evening? Back at the I believe we were at we were at the Shimmering Anvil, I believe.
The Silver Sweet Inn.
Silver Sweet, that was it. Yeah.
Silver Sweet Inn. Mm-hmm. All right, so I say we just head back there and start a new day, right?
Sounds good.
Let's do that. Right, I could use a long rest.
I was gonna say you guys are pretty injured anyway. It's not a bad decision.
Pretty beat up.
So where is the long rest on the new interface here? Where is that?
Fantastic question. I actually have
mine is by the hit dice. I don't know about yours.
The hit.
It might be abbreviated.
Where the F is the hit dice? Where is it?
Oh, okay. All
right. Under your name.
So you see where it says
like
8
kind of 8 over 8.
See the problem is like my whole menu is like in dark mode. I can't see shit.
Really? Okay.
Oh. Yeah, like I can't see anything.
That's bizarre.
Close your character sheet. Sorry for everybody for the technical things. This Blame Foundry. So close your character sheet. Click on Alessio Morte, and then are you still in dark mode?
Yes.
I just fiddled with the thing. All right. Do you see anything that says 8 over 8, and then you see L.rest?
8 over 8. Oh yes, I see that. I have to move. So I have to zoom all the way out and get it into the gray background in order to see anything.
That's super weird.
Weird.
All right, I'll see what I can do about that later. But regardless, so you guys head back to the Silver Sweet Inn. And Helga ends up greeting you. She says, "Oh, welcome back. Your rooms are all ready for you. Where's your other companion? Is he out enjoying the city?"
You could say that.
He told us he had some bear riding to do, so we left him to
it. She looks over at Sigrid, who's her little buddy there, the ones that actually handed him the piece of paper, and she says, "Looks like we're gonna be getting a commission." And you guys can retire to your rooms, assuming that you'd like to, unless there's anything else that you'd like to do before you go for a long rest.
Colin is headed to her room and passing the fuck out. She didn't even say goodnight.
Fantastic. All right. So Alessio, let's have a little chat. So as you are kind of going to bed and getting ready, you hear a very familiar voice in your head, that of Naxori. And I'm going to try something here because this way the other folks can't hear. So the stream should be able to hear, but nobody else should. So I don't think that they'll be able to hear you if you respond, but I will. So we'll just try it. All right. So it's just you and me.
All right.
She says, Alessio, within this city, each clan has its own treasures, but Berkath wants the Golden Chalice of Kings. It's within a location called the Golden Vault. Find it and retrieve it, but be careful. All right. So we'll go back.
Okay.
All right. So you guys you can take your long rests, and we'll wake up the next day. Let me know when you're all set mechanically.
Rest.
I kind of did it a while ago, which is why I insisted that she didn't even say goodnight. So I was like, I gotta make sure. That was
All right. So it's the next day. You guys wake up. Outside, it's still pretty dark. Even at the midday sun, the light inside of this cave doesn't really get very bright. The only real light comes from the front main gates and from the back where the skyway is. So you wake up, you kind of order your breakfasts. You kind of you can get whatever you want for the most part, just meats, breakfast stuff, eggs. They might even have eggs on the menu. Why not? And if there's anything that you'd like to do before you leave the inn, let me know. Otherwise, let me know where you'd like to go.
I asked about where the veterinarian is to see if we could maybe stop along the way to get Booker's pads checked out.
Absolutely. So she says, well, the veterinarian is actually right a couple buildings behind us, but they're going to want to keep Booker for a few hours to take care of him.
Okay, I'll go by there, check him out, and drop him off.
Sure.
Get his,
all right.
His little footsies checked.
Sure. All right. So you drop Booker off. I forget what she said. I think she said it was included with the price, I believe, that you had already paid.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was a couple silver. So you drop off Booker. He licks your face, and but he's a good boy. He goes where he's told, and they actually a very pompous looking dwarf who has a pink beard. Actually, clearly dyed. She's like, "Oh, we'll take your little froofy puppy here, and we'll take very good care of him. What's his name?"
Booker looks at me and rolls his eyes. So I'm like, his name is Booker, and he's very clever.
Little Booker. Is there any sort of nicknames that we should be calling Booker?
Don't call him nicknames. He hates that.
That's the peculiar nickname, but I'll call him it. That's fine. All right. Sorry, that was a dad joke. All right. Anyway, so she leads him into the back, and she says, "You can come get him in about 2 to 3 hours, and we'll take very good care of him." All right. So you are now Sans Bookers for the first time in a while.
I know. It's really sad.
Missed a baby.
Yeah. Your legs immediately ache with the knowledge that you won't be able to ride him when you get tired.
Yeah, I'm already tired.
So are we headed? We want to head up to the Platinum Weave. I think we got to make a stop with the Silver Spindle and then the Shimmering Caves. I definitely want to learn more about these inventions and these crystals.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are heading up towards the Platinum Weave. And you, let's do this. Make a group perception check for me, please. It means all three of you.
Oh, BKB.
Uh, 18.
I got a 15.
All right. 15, 18. I'm sorry, Jason. I don't know how to help you other than after you roll your if you figure out how to roll your perception, maybe hit F5 and see if you.
I got it. I think I see it. I think I got it.
All right. So Agnomeio, you got a 15. TaLin, you got an 18, and Alessio, you got a 6. Okay. So TaLin and Agnomeio, Alessio is he's having trouble, despite his dark nature. He's having trouble seeing past the the dark mode.
Well, I mean, give me like a half hour to be able to do this with my eyes closed.
Right. But yeah, hit F5, Jason, and see if that helps in the foundry. All right. So anyway, you guys see a number of dwarves. Actually, I will say that at this point, Knobolas has still not yet returned to you guys. Or at least not that you know of. Maybe he's still sleeping in his room, but you didn't find him this morning. I won't say he's sleeping in his room. I'll just say you guys have not yet found him this morning. Maybe he stayed the night wherever he was. Maybe he didn't, but we'll find out.
I am not so concerned. You know, he is a grown elf. Yeah.
All right. So you guys, with those higher perception rolls, you notice that there is actually quite a bit. Whereas you saw those kobolds kind of cleaning the ceiling earlier, you've been able to see that they've made quite a bit of progress. There's a visible line where the soot has been cleaned from the ceiling. There's a number of new chimneys that you can actually see, just kind of reaching out to the skylight. A couple of them actually have sunlight coming through them, and you start to see like, you know, people wandering around. There's a lot more going on in the city now, where it's you know, it's earlier in the morning, but people are awake. But one thing that you do notice, that same dwarf that was that you gambled with yesterday, he's out and about, and you see him playing a couple of dice games with a couple of other dwarves, and you guys still heading up to the Silver Spindle, or?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And I will tip my hat to our gambling friend as we go by. A good day, my cool-handed amigo.
So he is not wearing a hat, but he gives you a look and kind of does like the guy nod, like you know.
Oh yeah,
He goes up instead of down, which means he kind of likes you, right? I think that's how man law works, right? So. You ever notice that? You ever notice that? Like if a guy, like if you give the nod, it's just like up means you like somebody, but like I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
I feel like it's a different level of acknowledgement.
It is. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head up to the Platinum Weave clan area, and TaLin, as you guys actually, I'll move your tokens here. I'm going to leave Booker right about there, which is where he is. We're going to head up towards the Platinum Weave clan. And what you see, TaLin, is you notice a short dwarf with pallid skin. And he's got these really short little legs. He's shorter than a normal dwarf. And he kind of like runs up to you. Because of the shortness of his legs, he almost like fast penguin walks, you know, like his legs are out to the side more than forward. And but he doesn't look... He almost immediately loses his breath, though, like as if he just doesn't move a whole lot. And his eyes are kind of sunken back in his head. His beard is not well maintained. And you see that his hands are even pretty dirty. He smiles at you, TaLin, and you see that he's even missing some teeth. And he goes, "TaLin, is that you? It's only been a few weeks, and I'm surprised you're back already."
Oh, Bill's voices.
Oh.
I know. I mean, the girl at the veterinarian, she's taking care of Booker. That's obviously Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello.
They're taking care of Booker.
Oh, little Bookie. Yeah, I don't even know.
Oh, hey there, Grumblewort. I did not expect to be back this soon, but hopefully you haven't gotten yourself in any more trouble.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I hate to say it, but I'm having another problem that I'm not sure what to do with. And do you think that at some point today you could come by the spinning spores and help take a look?
I'll do that. Are you going to be around all day, bud?
I never leave. I
He
can't.
sounds like Mole Man.
Never leave. He almost went to like Bane a little bit. This is a lovely.
Shut up! You try to... hey, Jason, what does your character's voice sound like?
I don't even know anymore.
I remember it was Dracula at one point. Dracula.
That
was when you were a lizard.
When I was a lizard, it was the Count. It was Count Chocula.
That's right.
One.
Oh man! All right. Anyway, so you see, he gets this little bit of a glimmer in his eye that you've agreed that you're gonna maybe come by, and he turns around and he walks into a store, and you see the store actually. It says fancy oatmeal as like one of its highlights. So he's gonna have a day. He's gonna have some fancy oatmeal.
Ooh, he's gonna get that fiber.
He's the excitement. So he disappears. And you guys continue heading on to the Silver Spindle.
Sweet.
All right.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm having a good time.
Do you have yet another voice in hand for the Silver Spindle?
We'll see.
The Platinum Weave clan could have a whole another set of voices.
So actually, you bring up a good point. So the Platinum Weave clan, or the Platinum Weave area as a whole, you notice that there is a general vibe of magic. Instead of just like little torches or little cast iron braziers, I guess, on the wall. What you see instead is floating little blue candles, or little poles kind of advertising their businesses that are just floating in the air. Like, they don't seem to make any hesitance to utilize magic in their advertising. Now, the area themselves, the buildings are still made of stone, rather than red roofs that you have in the Silver Hammer area, or the blue that you have in the Iron Heart. These have teal colored roofs. And it's interesting, you're starting to realize the delineation of all the different clans. Although there doesn't seem to be any sort of open hostility between them, they do still very much keep themselves separate. So you head into the Silver Spindle. Excuse me. And let's see. The exterior is adorned with intricate carvings of stylized thread and needle motifs, showcasing the shop's craftsmanship. The shop's sign is elegantly carved in silver and gold, and the script actually, you notice, despite what language you speak, it starts switching from language to language, some of which you understand and some of which you don't. But it goes from common to Elvish to Dwarvish to Draconic, which, by the way, I'm not sure if I ever told you guys, but your time spent as lizard folk has allowed each one of you to be able to speak Draconic and understand it fluently.
Oh, that's odd.
So
bonus level up. I like that.
So
and somehow it gets Alessio killed.
Oh, he's gonna try to talk to a dragon, clearly, at some point.
Somehow it will get me killed.
You'll read a scroll that curses you.
Yeah. What did you say, Dragon Boy? Here's some snakes. Ah!
So, as I'm gonna actually switch over to a different thing here. So, cool. All right, so there's no VTT for the folks watching at this point. That's on purpose. So, as you walk into the Silver Spindle, you note that there's 3 women working there. There is a halfling, a dwarf, and a tiefling. Now, the dwarf is who you saw last night. That was Gwyneth Forgeheart, and you would have known her just from casual conversation or something at the Bearhold. And she introduces herself, and she says, "Oh, we actually, sorry, that's probably not her voice. She's a dwarven woman, so she says." Oh, the winners have come. The men and women just totally sound the same because I can't do I can't do too much. Whatever, they sound the same. They all have beards. She says,
That's
the beards are what gives them the voice.
That's right. Yes, it's the mighty beard. She introduces herself again. She says, "I'm Gwyneth Forgeheart, and welcome, my winners. You have a coupon, I suspect, to come purchase something at my store. Welcome. Take a look around and let me know what interests you, and we can have a little discussion."
Did we each individually get a coupon, or
You did not. So after defeating Piddles, the fact that all of you kind of jumped in, you were all awarded this coupon.
So, like, we could spin Knobolas' part of it if we wanted to.
I mean, you don't know where Knobolas is. I don't see him coming to argue it.
Okay. Or we could try and figure out what he would buy if he was here.
We can get him a lovely gift.
Oh, pasties! We could get a little pasties.
When you get like little nipple rings, like something. How does he do something like Janet Jackson style, so that way his nipples can still like poke out, you know,
so
like just around the edges. You know?
I swear, man, that between that and Clinton, I think those two events were actually the downfall of this country. Like, like 9/11's not even like those two events.
The nip slip.
The beginning
what year was the nip slip? Okay, so
yeah.
Look for tassels.
So Gwyneth actually, she snaps her fingers a little bit, and this little halfling pops up, and she says, "Yes, madam," and she says, "Pip, go help our guests to pick something out." And this little halfling kind of walks over, and she's got this little smile. She's got curly chestnut brown hair and twinkling eyes, and sorry, I was just showing it to the group. She's very energetic. She kind of runs over and she's, hi, what can I do to help you out? What are you looking for? We have all kinds of things. Are you looking for something fancy? Or are you looking for something with use? Are you looking for something with no use, but just brings you joy?
What do you have in the way of hats?
Ah, shit.
We're gonna...
Oh, I gave you back your hat, by the way.
Oh, yes, thank you.
TaLin, we're going to be here a while. He's going to try on every episode.
There's somebody to help him with the hats and then help the rest of us.
So she says, well, I wouldn't really call ourselves a haberdashery, but we do have a couple of hats here. We have this very lovely satin-lined top hat. We have a couple of you guys are gonna have to help me out. What are those like Irish hats with like the little thing? They're like a flop hat kind of thing. I forget what they're called.
A flat cap?
Flat cap. Yes,
I
was like, I thought it was like a flop something, but flat hat. Yeah. Anyway, so she shows a couple of those. She's like, we have those in green and yellow and brown and a few different colors. If whatever you like, we could always dye things too. We might have something a little bit different too for the distinguished purchasers. This is called and she picks up this little hat, and it's actually extremely small. So I'm gonna look on my desk here for a prop, and the best thing I can find is a pack of gum. So picture my head; it would look like this.
Oh man!
And
like sometimes they would wear that like at the Derby, like not at the Kentucky Derby, but like back in the old English one. The little tiny one.
So she says, "This is don't let this distract you. It's actually small on purpose so that you can hide it in your bag or something. This is called a hat of disguise." And
that's what he said. It's actually small on purpose.
So she says, this will allow a wearer to change their appearance or assume different identities if you'd like. But don't tell the Ironhearts that we have this here.
Oh, no, I would not dream of it. How much for your tiny hat of sneakiness?
Well, so that coupon that you have, just depending on the price, it'll get you something totally free, or it'll give you a very significant discount on some of our other items. But if this is what you're looking for, typically it goes for about 475 gold. It's a little expensive,
Dang.
but, you know, it's far from the most expensive thing we have here. So maybe you'd like to see around a few more of our items that we have. But let me ask you, are you looking specifically for magical items, or are you just looking for something extremely well made? Maybe some sort of a armor, maybe something a little bit more like leathers or even hide. What are you looking for?
Yes, I would be very interested in that.
Which one?
Out of curiosity, how much is the top hat?
The top, the top hat. That's actually not nearly as expensive. It's not magical. It just looks very nice, and that'll cost you about 30 silver.
Okay. All right.
So let me know. But you guys look.
Should we
Go
get a
ahead.
hat for Booker?
Oh my god! What was top hat fit Booker?
She looks back actually at Gwyneth. She said, "Well, you know what? Gwyneth would have met Booker. Maybe she would have told a story or so. The story of Booker would have gotten out." So she says, "Gwyneth, do you have any issue with a dog wearing one of our top hats?" And Gwyneth says, "A sail is a sail. But you know, we could fashion some sort of a strap, keep it on his head, if that's something that you're interested in."
I will fucking pay double for this top hat. They put it on Booker.
Hats for everyone!
I want a top hat.
Don't tell her you're gonna pay double for it.
I'm so excited.
She takes that as the joke it was intended to be, and she says, "Let's go ahead and we'll put that up on the shelf over here." And so I'll assume that you're intending on buying that, so you could put on a top hat, and actually, so Pip is gonna carry that over to the shelf, and she's gonna hand it over to a tiefling, and she's gonna say, "Lysandra, why don't you go back and put a shorter little strap for the chin here?" And you see Lysandra is a tiefling. She's got midnight blue skin, and on her head she's actually got these little silver or like silver jewelry that connects both of her horns together. And she looks extremely beautiful. She's wearing kind of this long gown, and she takes it in the back, and she just kind of gives a nod, doesn't say a word. She takes it in the back and presumably get to work on it. Okay, so you've bought a top hat for the dog.
Fantastic.
This is the best
I wish
will
I-
meet in all of this game.
I wish I could say I didn't. Normally I say I didn't see the episode going this way, but when I put top hat, I was like, somebody's going to buy the top hat. I did not see it being the dog.
Well, initially I was like, maybe I could buy this as a gift for Agnomeio, but then no, that's just
No.
too freaking good.
It is so
Sorry.
much better to buy it from Booker. Clearly, I have plenty of hat. I can buy
You
my
have
own
some
hat.
good hats.
So Pip walks back over to you guys, and she says, what's your name? And she points to you, Alessio.
What type of armor do you have?
So she asked your name. You told her. That's okay. But
Hello, what kind of armor do you have?
Back to counter.
You don't need to know my name. What kind of armor do you have?
Fair enough. And she looks up and she says, "All right, tall, dark, and handsome. We're going. I will call you Elf. So Elf, for armors. Well, you're an Aladdin.
Hi, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
She looks at you puzzled as if like, is he somewhere else right now? and she says, "Well, thank you for that. I know quite where my dad is. He's actually a couple buildings over, but that's fine. You can call me Buddy. So anyway, for armor, we have. So what are you looking for? Are you looking for leather or are you looking for hide?
Something magical.
Something magical. Well, you know what? Actually, I have a couple of things. Not so much armor, but things for you to wear. So there's this scarf that we have here, and it'll grant you some resistance to cold damage. Or it could be used to create a gust of wind, or you could use it once per day to cast the spell Chill Touch. So that's one thing. It's a very fluffy kind of scarf, but she says we have a couple of different varieties. You could let us know what you want it to look like, and we'll see what we have. The other thing that we have here, this is she holds up a sash, and she says, "Mister doesn't want to tell me your name. This is called a sash of charisma." And it's a vibrant green sash that it'll enhance your charisma, and it'll give you a +2 to your charisma. So it's pretty significant. +2 to anything is pretty hefty. She says your coupon will cover one of these if that's what you guys decide to use for this, but that is up to you.
Is anybody lacking in charisma?
I mean, but what if I don't have a problem with it?
Yeah, that's everyone else's problem, really.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you lack charisma, you don't care that you lack charisma. It's like part of lacking charisma.
That's a good point.
True.
You know who? Wait. I'm just thinking. Knobolas is pretty good at charisma, and he might like a sash. You know, he does use charisma a lot.
So to really up his charisma?
I would tell you that he probably doesn't have much more room for charisma. I like where you're going, but
forget
it. Like, if we were rating it out of 20, I'd say he's around a 20.
Okay.
So.
I don't know. I feel like the scarf might be a little bit more interesting.
So she says, you know what, at this point, I've shown you guys most of our magical wares, and that seems to be more what you're interested in, other than, she looks at TaLin, she says, other than hats for pets, but, you know, that's apparently that's what the...
functional.
Apparently that's what the silver spindle has become.
Functional.
That's fine. So we have, let me tell you what else we have. So we have this robe here, and she holds up a luxurious robe made from finely woven fabric, and it's got these little seams in it. It's actually the thread that they're well known for. It glows red, and she says this is a robe of fire resistance. So anything fire based will not hurt you nearly as much. This is a bit of a rare item. This would not quite be covered with your coupon, but we could work out a deal if you're willing to pay a little bit of gold on top of it. Your coupon will get you. Your coupon will knock off about 60%, and she says that so it'll run you about 1,000 gold.
Woohoo!
Fire resistance.
How much fire resistance? What
resistance? What resistance means is that, let's say you got hit with a fire spell, it'll do half damage. So 20 fire damage becomes 10, or 500 becomes 250.
Oh,
you know.
and if we're gonna be dealing with a big douchey dragon thing.
So she proceeds to show a couple more things off. She has a cloak of elven kind. She says this one's a little bit cheaper. This one would definitely be covered by your coupon. It's a flowing cloak that grants advantage on dexterity or stealth checks and allows the wearer to blend into natural surroundings.
Ooh. I look at her and I say, does it come in black?
She says, sir, this comes in nothing but black. So
I think we might have a winner right there.
Out of the floor.
So she says, I've got one more item to show you guys. This is the only other magical item that we have in the store. We actually are pretty hefty on magic items at the moment. Since the we haven't had a whole lot of visitors lately, but these are called the cufflinks of spell storing. And they're decorative cufflinks. So she looks at you, Agnomeio, at your fine vestments that you wear.
I was just gonna say, if anyone's gonna pull off cufflinks, it's gonna be Agnomeio.
And she says, we could certainly work these into anybody's armor, but they might actually just look good on you, little one. And she says this can store a single spell. It allows the wearer to cast it at a later time without using any sort of spell slots. Now, Mechanics, rules as written. I'm not sure how this works for non-magic casters, but I have no problem giving it to a non-magic caster. But the idea is that somebody who can cast magic needs to cast the spell into your cufflinks. And then you can save them for however long you want.
Oh, that's cool. Is that covered by the coupon? Or how much would it be?
Let me check one thing real quick. Sorry,
Oh my God,
I just
it's like actually being at a store, and she's like, "Let me check the inventory.
yes, exactly.
Let me see what I can do."
Let me just see. She says if you were to give me the coupon and about 200 gold, we could make that happen.
Okay.
Typically this item will cost you a couple thousand gold, but we can make this work.
You know what I think? I think as much as I would love some beautiful cufflinks, I think we should use our coupon for my brother in Rapier so he can have that awesome Heidi robe.
So if that's what you'd like, just tell me, and that can totally happen.
Are you guys cool with that?
I think makes sense.
Yeah, I could sneak around even more sneaky.
Because we can still do some shopping elsewhere for like armor.
Oh yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like it comes in black and.
So
it shall be mine.
So she says this. Oh, I love that. All right, hold.
I was gonna draw a dog, but it turns out I can't. It ended up being Lil Grizz.
At first I was like, is that Lil Grizz? It looks like Lil Grizz.
It is. It's Lil Grizz. It turns out I can't draw dogs, so it was Lil Grizz.
Fantastic. So Agnomeio, she looks at you and she says, are there any embellishments or anything that you'd like to add to this cloak? We could do them at no charge. If there's any sort of pattern that you want, any sort of words, anything that you'd like on it, we can do.
I don't know, Alessio, I mean, this is up to you, but I mean, you do like some gold filigree or something on it? I don't know how that would work with the sneaky stuff, but
so
it looks super rad.
I'll tell you that anything you do to it will not mechanically matter. It will not change it. In fact, it could help. Like if you were like, well, I want it to be camo, like maybe that helps. But like whatever you want, just use your magic. Make it cool. Or make it black. Like black is cool too.
Let's see.
There could be like leather motorcycle coat kind of thing.
Can it be like black and charcoal dragon scales like pattern?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So in fact, you kind of describe the fight with Thorek. And you tell her about how not only were his scales, glowing in this yellow, just blah, but there was like this underlying dark charcoal black scales underneath it. And she says, Pip hands it back to Gwyneth. She says, I think Gwyneth can do something with that. Give us just about a half hour. It's up to you guys whether you want to hang around for that. I imagine that we do. Whatever, we'll just do that. So it takes a little time for the top hat to get the neck piece on it anyway. So the tiefling comes back to the front, and Gwyneth says, would you mind putting some charcoal dragon scales on this for our customer here, please? And so she goes to the back, comes back, and hands you guys both your top hat and your new cloak of elven kind, which I've already dragged onto your character, and takes your coupon, and you are good to go.
Boy.
All right.
Yeah.
So the cloak of elven kind does require attunement. So it will be one of 3 items that you can have that require attunement. Your ring, your ring of Vesper ring, I think is what it's called, also requires attunement. So you're 2 out of 3 so far. But that's
okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. So we'll just equip that right away. You already know what it is, so you don't have to inspect it or anything like that. And that is now part of your stuff. Cool.
Is it in my equipment now? Is it?
Yeah.
Cloak
so
of Elven Kind. I see it. Nice.
Nice. Cool. Good choice. Excellent.
That thing's badass. Love it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
And
I'm excited to not see you in it.
So double check, just for yourself, read up on what that does. Not out loud, but just so you know exactly what that does.
Yeah, I wish I could, but I can't read the text.
I'm so sorry. All right. So while you wear this cloak with its hood up, wisdom perception checks made to see you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks made to hide, as the cloak's color shifts to camouflage you. Pulling the hood up or down requires an action. So specifically, if you're trying to hide, you have to pull the cloak up. That's 100% something I think that I, as well as you, probably will forget. So we'll probably retcon that liberally. But yeah,
put the hood
up. All right. So the stuff that's there will be there if you guys decide that you want to come back and buy anything. But for the moment, if you want to do anything else there, then you're good. Otherwise, what would you like to do next?
Okay.
Shall we make our way towards the shimmering cavern?
Let's do it. Yes. That looks like the coolest thing.
That looks like the coolest thing.
The shimmering cavern. Yeah, look at that.
All right, excellent. For the sake of storyline, as you guys approach the shimmering cavern, Knobolas actually kind of trots up, and he meets back up with you guys, and he says, let me know, Alessio, would you have put the cloak, the hood up just to kind of try it out or not?
Wait, who's coming back up?
So Knobolas is
Knobolas is coming back up. Yeah, I want to use an action and put the hood up and see what happens.
Perfect. So he goes, TaLin, Agnomeio, hey, oh, Alessio, I didn't even see you there.
And I look at him and I say, it came in black.
Hey, so did he.
Oh, that's wonderful. I don't get it. Could you explain that?
For a different reason.
Right. Anyway, so you guys approach the shimmering cavern, and Knobolas walks up to you guys, and he says, I won't give too much away, but he says, hey guys, I might be being followed. Let's just keep an eye out for any dwarfs dressed in kind of like a black attire. All right. So you guys head over to the shimmering caverns. And as you kind of walk up, you notice that there's a dwarven there's a couple of dwarven guards out front. They appear to be from the Ironheart, as they generally serve as the city guard. And they stop you and they say, what's your business?
We are coming to meet with Alicia. We're hoping to learn more about your shimmering caverns.
The shimmering cavern. There's no Alicia here. You talk about the gnome, the little gnome.
Yes.
She's over at the Glimmering Gearworks. That's further over there, and he kind of points to a building.
That works too. But could we at least have a peek as long as we are here?
To what purpose?
We want to see the shimmer. The shimmer. Don't you want us to see the shimmer?
The shimmer. And he looks at his friend. What the hell's a shimmer?
The shimmer of the caverns.
The shimmer. Sheem. I want you to make make a persuasion check for me.
Oh Jesus. The shimmer.
Oh, nat 20.
A nat 20.
I guess you're gonna see the shimmer.
Oh boy. All right. So the dwarf there, he goes, oh, the shimmer. All right. Yes, you're a funny one there, little man. That's wonderful. So yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a tour. So he kind of takes you all back, and you walk he says we can only go so far back. There's a little something going on deeper in the cave that you don't need to know about. It's fine. But check this out. There's gemstones. They're I don't know why I was just starting to go into strong bad for anybody who knows. There's
the email. What the email?
It's the shimmering cavern. How do I fight with boxing gloves on? Anyway, sorry. All right, so he says yeah, come on back. He's like showing you around. He shows you that there's multiple different types of gems here. Actually, just not even very far in, there are these fairly large gems, both green and red and blue and all different kinds of colors. He says, I can't tell you much about what each one of these does, but they regrow, actually. So the people who kind of mine these out, they chisel them at a certain length, and then you leave them alone for about a week, and they'll regrow completely. He says, the only thing I know, and this you're only getting this because you rolled a nat 20, says the only thing I know is that the blue ones and the orange ones, they have something to do with the sky ship. Something to do about like making it go up and down, I believe. I'm not sure. But these are all very valuable. So thus concludes the tour. And he kind of ushers you back out.
Which is
quickest tour ever.
Well, I'm glad we got to see the Shimmer.
He says, are there any questions?
Well, I think we can ask them of our engineer friends over at the Glimmering Gearworks. So,
sure. Actually, with that natural 20, so just because, why not? He says, you mind if I kind of lead these guys away and go show them where the Glimmering is? And the other dwarf says, yeah, no problem. It's been a slow day. I'll take care of it here. Let's go, Alessio. I want you to roll me a perception check, please. Like a microcraft distillery tour.
Hold on. What'd you say? Persuasion or perception?
Perception, please.
Perception. Okay.
A 13. So actually, urgently kind of running past you guys, almost to the point of, I guess this probably didn't need to be a perception, but whatever. As you guys walk out, there's these three little kobolds, and if you remember, they're the same guys that are up on the ceiling. They're just they're running into the shimmering cavern, and they have these little tool belts on. A couple of them have chisels on the tool belts, and they just run in, and then after a few seconds, you kind of hear like tink 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 tink, and then you hear something shatter, and some yelling from inside, like, "Oh, you clumsy! Just get out of here!" And the kobolds kind of run back out. One of them has a couple of gems in his hand, and you see them run down to, actually, if you're looking at the map, just kind of a couple houses down, and they run into the house.
So I'll ask our dwarven guide: Is everything okay with the tiny dragon people? They are okay?
Yeah. These kobolds, man, I tell you, it's not like it used to be. And I'm old enough to remember how it used to be. They are just something about them lately. They're just like sloppy or maybe distracted. I don't know. Like, he points up at the ones on the ceiling. He's like, they've been doing that job for like 3 days, and usually that would have taken them like a day and a half max. And even the fact that they're stood on the roof, like these lazy dragon people, I tell you, the kobolds are just.
Little racist dwarf.
There's a lot of races in D&D. So he says there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not what they used to be. Maybe they don't want to work. I guess I don't know. Anyway, here you are. We're at the Glimmering Gearworks here, and he kind of shows you to one of the buildings. Knobolas turns around and he's admiring one of the kobold's tails. So
as he should. All
right. Shall we enter the Gearworks?
Ooh, we shall. So you enter the Glimmering Gearworks, and you notice immediately it's just there's all kinds of activity. It's almost overwhelming. Like, everything in this place is moving. But inside, everything is just gears and metal and rods and everything. Like everything is moving around. There's giant mechanical bodies, I guess you'd call it, just kind of on conveyor belts moving past. And there's only 3 gnomes in here, but one of them runs up to you immediately, and it's Taniana. And she says, oh, hi. I'm so glad you guys made it. There's a couple of things I wanted to show you, but first let me introduce you to a couple of people. First off, this is Merrick Coppercoil. And he kind of looks up, he pulls his goggles up for a second. He had been welding something, and he looks up and he kind of gives you a nod as well. Apparently that's just a thing people do here a lot. So, but you can tell that he's got surrounded by all of these little crystals, similar to what you just saw in the Shimmering Cavern. And many of them are kind of banded around with like metal, or they're, kind of up high. He's using some of them as magnifying glass. Like he's just surrounded by these things. Clearly that has something to do with what he specializes in. And then she points over at Alicia, and she says, that's Alicia Cogspark. And you recognize her as the gnome that had run out of the pit. And she says she's about to actually try again if you want to watch. And she kind of points over, and there's these chairs that are oddly made out of wrenches and other random bits and baubles, and they're these metal chairs. She says, go ahead, take a seat. And do you guys sit down?
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. And Alicia, she kind of gets into this little orange jumpsuit, and she zips it all the way up, and then she puts on this little white backpack looking thing, and she stands on a platform. And then she puts on what you can only imagine is some sort of a rocket pack, and she says, all right, let's go. And Merrick walks over, way less energy than she has, and he takes one of those little things you remember from chemistry class that makes the sparks, and he just kind of, and both things start lighting up on her rocket pack, and she's like, ah! And she launches out of the ceiling, and she blasts up to the top of the cavern, and you can actually hear the rockets, and the whole room fills with smoke, and it's like, and the jetpack just fails, and she goes flying, and you can see there's a big viewing window out the front of the shop, and you see her just kind of plummet into the pit, and right before she goes out of your view, you see this big white ball form around her, and she just boing, boing, boing. And you see her like once or twice, and then you imagine that she's still bouncing. And then a few minutes later, she runs back in through the front door, and she says, it totally worked this time. It totally worked. It's just, I didn't feel a thing, and I bounced. It was terrifying, but it was awesome. and Taniana, they give each other a high five, which is like really, it's except for you, Agnomeio, it's like waist height for you, Alessio. It's just like, it's like watching kids high five each other. So, Taniana, she says, all right, cool. Which one of you guys is next? And that's where we're going to end this episode for tonight.
Fair enough.
I like this little city. This is cool.
Yeah, no. This place is awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys had fun. I'm sorry for Adriana having to miss the end of the episode. But whatever. I know she had told me that she might have to drop. Either way, thank you guys for joining. I believe we're going to be playing next week. And if anybody's so encouraged, I saw Shayla earlier say that she really wanted to paint Lil Grizz. Oh, Adriana, you just missed it. You're going to have to rewatch the end because I'm not repeating that.
Yeah, I heard a bunch of it, and it was a bizarre experience.
I think my whole house probably just heard that, but that's okay. So anyway, Shayla, if you decide that you want to paint Lil Grizz, we'll pay for the material.
With the top hat. With the top hat.
Yeah.
Please.
Could he be like maybe he's standing there in his armor with the top hat under his arm or something, like little dignified Grizz or something? I don't know.
That's the best we got right now. So we got
I love that. All right, guys. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here on Dungeons and Drams. We will see you guys.
Thank you to the patrons.
Oh yes, let me do that actually, since we didn't have Clifton this time. Sorry, let me grab that. I should probably just know the thing by heart at this point. 10 seconds. It's loading. Episode 44, game notes. Come on. It's trying so hard. All right. Mike, Steve, Tony Two Toes, EJ, James Taylor, David Martin, Lewis, and Scott MC. Now, I will tell you guys that there is a tier there to help us create an NPC, and this city is open to all kinds of NPCs. So if you are willing and able, that is a awesome tier to join right now. So other than that, we could really use the support. So go ahead and check it out. And there will be some behind the scenes stuff coming this week, I promise. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for playing tonight. This was really fun. And we'll talk soon. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Outro.